All right, so without further ado, these are the absolute best Zoom games for remote teams. I didn't put anything that's cheesy in here, right? So there are no cheesy games allowed. These are the first three that I'm going to cover are going to be free though. These are things that anybody can download these things or actually play them online and have a lot of fun on your Zoom calls. So just as a reminder, even great games to play on Zoom that aren't tied into the purpose of the meeting can fall flat, right? So the most important thing to keep in mind when you play one of these virtual games is to make sure that the game has a purpose in the regular meeting, right? If you just play a fun game, the group may appreciate that, you're doing something different. However, many of them are going to see it as a waste of time, especially if it's not tied into the purpose of that meeting. Like for instance, if you're doing an onboarding meeting, then a game that gets the group to know each other better, like the getting to know you, which we're going to focus on in the next couple of seconds, can easily be tied into the theme of that meeting. If your meeting is to report sales numbers or to report on projects, do some project reports, and the results of those project reports or sales reports are competitive, then a competitive game can easily be inserted into that type of meeting. And you're going to find it easy to tie the competitive game to the competitive reports. So regardless, stay away from just inserting random games just to add some fun, because most of the time, if the meetings themselves aren't really fun, then the games really aren't going to be fun either, right? So let's kind of get started with the very first one. This is one that you don't need any type of technology for other than just your regular Zoom call or Microsoft Teams or whatever it is that you use. It's called Getting to Know You. It's a really simple interactive activity that you can insert into virtual happy hours. You do it for onboarding, any of that kind of stuff. So the game is designed to get the teams to interact in small groups and to just get people to talk to each other. That's really one of the more challenging things that we struggle with in Zoom calls, is that it's typically a lot of times it's just a single person, a person who's organizing that's doing all the talking, and we ask a question and nobody really responds and that kind of thing. So a game like this can kind of help get people dialoguing, get people talking to each other. So first thing you want to do is start by introducing the game and setting the rules. So I'll give you an example, and you can actually just write this down word for word and copy it. It works really, really well. So let's start with a short exercise to help you get to know each other a little bit better. So in chat, I'm going to be pasting a list of items to ask one of your new coworkers. And in a moment, I'm going to partner you up with a random coworker into a breakout room. And you're going to have 4 minutes to ask your new partner that list of questions. So your goal is to create a dialogue though. So make sure that if your partner is asking you questions, that you ask questions back of your partner. Otherwise, the conversation is going to be very one-sided. And basically just a very simple kind of introduction like that will do really, really well. And by the way, any questions will do, however, but if you pick questions from different categories, different things related to the group, it's more likely to kind of get them to find something out about each other that they didn't already know. So like, here are a few options. This is what you can kind of paste into the chat. Like, what industry have you worked in that was entirely different from this one? Or how did you get into this industry? Is this what you're studying in school, that kind of thing? What do you enjoy most about your job? What's something that you've done recently that you're proud of? Any of those kind of things. And by the way, like I said, any question will do, but those, if you give them 4 or 5 different questions, it should start a conversation somewhere along the way. So once you have the questions created and you can copy and paste those into chat, you basically just divide the team into 2-person breakout rooms. So if you have 10 people, 5 breakout rooms, each one of those breakout rooms has 2 people in them, partners, and then just give them 4 minutes to chat. And then once the time expires, have everybody return to the main session and just ask a couple of questions to spot check the participation. You could say something like, hey, did anybody find something out that was surprising about a coworker? And what did you find out that was surprising? Something like that. And then let them kind of do a little bit of talking. And then next, this is where it gets kind of fun. This is where this really kind of changes the whole activity kind of changes. What you want to do is go back into the breakout rooms, and you can actually move people from one breakout room to another. So let's say you've got 2 people in breakout room number 1, you got 2 people in breakout room number 2. You can basically take the 2 people in breakout room number 1, move them into breakout room number 2 as well. So now there'll be 4 people in that breakout room, and you can actually do it if you can put 6 people into the breakout room as well. And then before you open up the breakout rooms a second time, just say, hey, your goal now is when you get into your new breakout room, the one that you've been assigned, your partner's going to be in that breakout room with you. You have to introduce your partner to the rest of the group using only information that you collected in the last activity. So only things that you figured out by asking them a few of those questions, right? And that's when it just changes. I mean, that's now you've got 4 people or 6 people in a room. They're all talking to each other. They're chatting. They're interacting with each other. A little icebreaker like this, a little opening game like this can be really, really effective in helping you get people to kind of interact and talk with each other. So it's one of my favorites. I use this one quite often.